Cyprox is an application designed to scan vulnerabilities in your web and API applications while also performing subdomain, port, and technology discovery on the assets you provide through its ASM module. After logging in, the dashboard screen welcomes you. You can review your past scans, check the results, and explore detailed information about the vulnerabilities discovered. User settings. This section shows the token information you'll use during scans. Tokens generated here will be used in future scans, so make sure to store them in a secure place. To perform an API scan with Cyprox, you'll need to configure a few details through the interface. Start by clicking the New Application button to create an application. In this step, you'll need to name your application, provide the server information where the target API is running, and upload the API's Postman or Swagger documentation. Once these details are set, you're ready to proceed with the scan. When performing an API scan with Cyprox, it retrieves the target endpoints from Postman or Swagger format. You can easily create a scan with Cyprox using any available API documentation. Cyprox accepts Postman version 2.1 and Swagger doc formats. Applications. On this page, you can view the detailed version of the API documentation you've added. On this page, you can view the endpoints of the API documentation you've added. On this page, you can view and update the settings for your application. Authentications. During the scan, you can add the authorization details for the API services from this panel. While adding authorization, you can choose from fields like cookie, header, or query. The authorization information will be displayed in the key value input field. You can index the authorization details by role and link them to that role. By clicking the Add New button, you can use multiple key value pairs for authorization. Payloads. In this section, you can define the payloads for the variables found in the collection you've added. You can assign these payloads to any variables in the Scan Policy screen. Scan Policy. Here, you can enter the information about which application the scan will be performed on. Scan Policy, Variables. In this tab, the variables of the collection you've added will be displayed. You can select the type for any variable and enter the payloads you've previously created. Scan Policy, Authentication. In this tab, you can select the authentication details to be used for the collection you've added. The authentication information you've previously added will be listed here, and you can choose the one you need. Scan Policy, Headers. Any additional HTTP headers you want to include during the tests can be added and used in this section. Scan Policy, Rules. The rules to be tested can be selected from this section. You can apply category-based filters in this panel and choose the vulnerabilities you want from the extensive list of vulnerabilities available in Cyprox. Scan Policy, Run Scan Policy. This panel contains information about the agent that will perform the scan. The token value is unique to each user. The access token information created earlier in the user settings section is used here. Cyprox works with an agent running on Docker. This agent can operate on any operating system within Docker. In an on-premises setup, Cyprox performs scans directly on the user's computer. Scan Policy, Findings. In this panel, the vulnerabilities found by the agent are listed in detail. Cyprox records all scans performed on an application with the version detection system. Previous scans can be selected from the version field, allowing you to revisit earlier scans. You can also perform searches within the detected vulnerabilities using the detailed search functions. When vulnerabilities are listed, they include detailed sections for the description, solution, and references. You can view the detailed information about each vulnerability here. In this section, the details of the main request are displayed. Detailed information about the request and response sent by the agent without any modifications is listed here. In the request history section, the payload used to detect the vulnerability and the returned response details are displayed in detail. For a NoSQL vulnerability, a payload was sent and a 200 OK response was received, which Cyprox has flagged as a vulnerability. Cyprox allows you to mark false positives and vulnerabilities to improve vulnerability management. By marking a vulnerability as a false positive, you can ensure that these vulnerabilities no longer appear in the results. The solutions you are looking for are here. Cyprox.